Very brazen, very unheard of, really, for Madison.
Another robbery incident in a Madison parking lot involving children. What police are saying about these crimes.
Plus, the northern Wisconsin community is hoping for a Christmas miracle, how they're honoring a missing Wisconsin teen this holiday season.
I'm dad and mom and a teacher and a friend and the gardener, you know.
And a single dad of 5 is finding support from his neighbors after their home was destroyed in a fire over the weekend.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Madison police are investigating another armed robbery, this time on the west side in the parking lot of the Walgreens on Raymond Road.
Police are trying to see if this robbery is connected at all to the 2 carjackings that happened at daycare centers last week. Amanda Quintana live now on Raymond Road with why police say this continues to be an alarming situation. Amanda?
Yes, well, in all of these cases, children were in the car. Here, where it happened in the parking lot on Saturday, there was a 2-year-old in the car who saw a gun pointed at their grandfather, and then their grandfather was taken and thrown to the ground. Now, in this case, the car was not stolen. That's different from the carjackings, of course, but there are a lot of similarities.
I have young teenagers that they close in the store at 7 o'clock. So if this is happening, then we're going to have to think like either close the store earlier or move, because this is not good.
When Dora Zagorski heard about the family robbed at gunpoint in the parking lot right outside her dry cleaner, she got a little emotional.
If I was by myself, it'd be one thing, but if I have children in the car, that's really scary.
This isn't the first act of violence around the neighborhood on Raymond Road, but this incident has her rethinking her business location.
It's a lot of money to relocate, to take the whole thing, but I don't know, do I want to come face to face with somebody with a gun? No.
That's exactly what happened to a family on Saturday. After shopping at Walgreens, the grandparents, daughters, and 2-year-old grandchild got into their car to leave when a young man ran up with a gun, grabbing the grandfather by the neck and throwing him to the ground, taking off with 3 purses.
Very brazen, very unheard of, really, for Madison, although we've now seen 3 cases in the last week that are somewhat similar.
On Wednesday, 2 masked men pointed a gun at a father in the car with his 3-year-old at La Petite Academy daycare. Thursday, a similar story, this time with 3 kids at Great Beginnings Arbor Hills. MPD believes these 2 carjackings are connected and are now trying to figure out if the one at Walgreens is too.
Certainly, the descriptions are similar, but the descriptions are also fairly generic. Tall, thin, teenager, wearing dark clothing, ski mask, that sort of thing.
Joel Despain says this is alarming. These should be safe spaces, daycares, drugstores at 5 or 6 o'clock at night. But Zagorski knows even though they should be, these recent events are proving they are not always safe.
I want to survive. I want my business to stay open and succeed. But at the same time, I don't want somebody dying right there. That's not worth it to me.
MPD believes they do have some good leads on the suspects of the carjackings that took place at the daycare. But as for the investigation of what went on here, they still are just starting that and still just trying to figure out if they're all connected.
All right, Amanda Quintana live along Raymond Road tonight. Amanda, thank you. Madison police are still looking into that shooting at a nightclub over the weekend. We know one person is in custody. Officers were called to Visions on East Washington around bar time Sunday on reports of a large fight. While officers were on the way, 4 people were shot. 1 was stabbed. Everyone is expected to be okay. Managers at Visions declined to comment on the situation. We have more from neighbors living around that area on channel3000.com.
A community is holding a Tree of Hope ceremony tomorrow in honor of missing Wisconsin teen Jamie Kloss. She's been missing since October 15th when police were called out to her family's home in Barron. There, they found her parents, James and Denise, dead. Investigators believe Jamie was abducted and say she is not a suspect in the deaths of her parents. Jamie's classmates and others wrote messages of hope that will be displayed on the tree. Detectives have ruled out thousands of tips in their search for Jamie.
Now we turn now to weather. What feels like your everyday December day out there. A little bit cool out there, but Gary, we're not seeing all the snow that they saw in the southeast.
No, we've been very lucky so far. and it looks like the weather pattern will stay quiet for the foreseeable future. Let's start out by taking a look at weather track. You can see we had just a few clouds move overhead this afternoon. Skies are clearing out very nicely, and those temperatures will drop off accordingly. This morning we were in the upper single digits to the lower teens, and there were some areas of fog, especially south of Madison, that contributed to some slippery road surfaces, but also gave some great views of frost on buildings and on trees. High temperatures today, though, were in the middle 30s for the most part, and that melted the frost. To our north and west, though, temperatures stayed in the 20s. That's where the snow cover is on the ground, so you can clearly see the effects of snow there. Temperatures right now range from about 30 in Madison and 31 in Madison and 30 in Janesville to the 20s to our north and to our west. There is an alert day in the forecast, though, for Wednesday for the possibility for some light freezing rain and light snow that could lead to slippery travel conditions. Temperatures will drop off to about 20 by tomorrow morning with mainly clear skies. Then tomorrow look for more sunshine or high temperature right around 35. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. There is 1 week left to register your flood damage with FEMA. Dane County's Disaster Recovery Center will close Friday at 2. Home and business owners will have until next Monday, the 17th, to register. Wisconsin residents must register to be considered for any recovery money.
Governor Walker will have more time than you might think to act on lame duck session bills. Rose Schmidt is live from the state capitol to explain what happens next. Rose?
Well, those bills will automatically be delivered to Governor Walker's office on December 20th, unless he requests them to be brought sooner than that. Lawmakers cleared these bills last week as part of a marathon extraordinary session. Some powers would be stripped from the incoming governor and attorney general under the Republican proposals. Governor-elect Tony Evers said over the weekend he personally asked Walker to veto the bills, but Walker would not say one way or another. Senator John Urbanbach is encouraging Walker to think about the legacy he'd be leaving if he signs the power-stripping bills.
We're all curious to see what he is going to do. The good thing to do is to veto them. The idea is to put the greater good of Wisconsin ahead of your own political interest, and hopefully he does, and he vetoes the legislation.
A spokesperson from Walker's office told News 3 the governor is reviewing the legislation and we will advise when he takes any action. Now, if the bills are indeed brought to Walker's office on December 20th, the very last day he could act on them would be December 27th. But if he doesn't take any action by that time, then those measures would automatically become law.
A timeline we'll be sure to follow closely. Rose, thank you.
And Governor-elect Evers is going on a statewide budget listening tour this week. The incoming Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes will join him. The tour starts tomorrow in Green Bay. Other stops planned in Wausau, La Crosse, and Milwaukee. Each session is open to the public, but you will need to register ahead of time. Participants will be able to share their budget priorities. We have more information on those sessions online at channel3000.com. The accused Russian spy who posed in a photo with Governor Walker appears to have reached a deal with federal prosecutors. Maria Butina is accused of working as an agent for the Kremlin while in the United States, accused of trying to push a Russian agenda by forming bonds with the National Rifle Association. Today, federal prosecutors and attorneys for Butina jointly requested a time for Butina to withdraw her previous not guilty plea. Butina has maintained her innocence, but has been in jail since her arrest.
A single dad and his 5 kids are without a home after a fire on Saturday. They live in Hollandale, which is a village in Iowa County. Madeline O'Neill is back from Iowa County on how you can help.
This is a tough one. Chris Madison's family is starting from scratch after returning from vacation to find their home was destroyed in a fire. No one was hurt in the fire, but the Hollandale Fire Department is asking the community for its help replacing necessities as the family looks for a temporary place to live. Madison says he bought the house 10 years ago and he put blood, sweat, and tears into making what was a fixer-upper into a home for his kids. Madison says after a Facebook post written by the fire department, the community has already given so much.
People I've never met have texted me and called me and asked me to take me shopping, to give me money. I mean, I have a hard time taking charity. You know, at this point, I don't know how much I can refuse. It's nice. It's nice to feel the love of a community.
Investigators haven't determined the cause of the fire. Community members donated a storage unit to the family to collect donations in the town of Hollandale. Again, this family lost everything in this time of year. That means holiday gifts too. So on our website, you can find lists of what would be best as far as gifts go and clothing sizes for the family.
Oh, they're going to need so much, but it sounds like the community is really stepping up.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Great
Maddie,
to see.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Some high chairs sold at stores like Target and Kohl's are being recalled. Skip Hop is recalling these high chairs because the legs can detach. There have been 17 reports of that happening so far with the 2.0 convertible high chairs. Anyone who has one of these chairs can contact Skip Hop for a full refund. We have information on how to do so at channel3000.com.
Besides his music, here's another reason to love singer Jason Mraz. He spent some time at the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin last week. While there, he sang and surprised some of the patients. This video shows him spending time with Taylor, a patient in the hospital's epilepsy monitoring unit. Mraz was in Milwaukee for a concert on Friday. Love that song. A beloved restaurant is lost during a fire over the weekend.
I've been here my whole life.
A loss being felt by the entire community in Cambridge. We'll hear from a woman who called 911 to report that fire. That's next at 6. Firefighters are trying to figure out what caused the fire at a popular restaurant in Cambridge.
News 3's Jamie Perez talked to the woman who called 911 after noticing the fire at Giovanni's.
Well, it's only been open for about a year and a half. This popular restaurant here in Cambridge is now at a total loss, as you can see, from a structure fire that started late last night. The owner is here on scene, but doesn't want to go on camera or give any sort of comment. But we did catch up with the woman who made that initial 911 call.
I was able to see flames shooting out of the window on the side of the bar that is by the road. So I called 911, and within 2 minutes, the Oakland police officers showed up.
Around 8 o'clock last night,
The fire itself was enormous and scary.
firefighters began putting out the flames at Giovanni's. Little did they know they would spend the next 9 hours fighting that fire.
I feel like it's on the same level as the Sun Prairie explosion, just without as much disaster.
Now at a total loss, the town didn't just lose this restaurant, but the history behind it.
I used to work here when it was Cardinal Ridge. This was my first job out of high school.
Coming here my whole life when it was Judd's back in the 80s and early 90s. Then it was Cardinal Ridge, then it was Daytona North.
Kevin Korth has seen it all. Although he's not a regular customer at Giovanni's, he's seen this building transcend through time.
It's an iconic place. It's been here forever.
Forever, it's been passed through different ownership, and now as Giovanni's.
With Giovanni's, it's just so sad to see a business burn down. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
A popular place that's home to more than just food and cooking appliances, but a place where history could be remembered in the walls that are now charred and collapsed.
Oh, yeah, it's busy all the time. Yeah, everyone from Cambridge comes here.
In Cambridge.
Sad, it's a mess. there's so many hours of cleanup, so much hours of work ahead of him.
Jamie Perez, WISC News 3.
How does one rebuild? How does one start over?
Again, firefighters are still trying to figure out the cause.
Light snow and freezing rain are possible this week. Gary has the details in his first alert forecast.
And it's a Christmas tree fit for Wisconsin. The story behind all these kegs next at 6. Things are getting real for Madison's professional soccer team.
Forward Madison FC announced the schedule for its inaugural season today. The season will start April 6th with an away game against the Chattanooga Red Wolves.
An area brewery is showing off a special type of Christmas tree this year. 279 kegs and plywood make up the keg Christmas tree at Capitol Brewery. The tree was built to bring attention to the brewery's new Capitol WISC-TV Wheat Ale. Customers can see the tree when the cranberry ale is tapped for the first time on December 20th.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now as we look ahead, the week ahead in our forecast. And Gary, maybe Wednesday, something to keep an eye on, is that right?
That's the day, yeah. Depending on the timing of the precipitation, right now it looks like it might be a little bit earlier, and in that case, we'd see more in the way of just light snow and less in the way of freezing rain. But we can't discount the freezing rain possibility, so we do have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday for the possibility for some slippery travel conditions because of freezing rain and light snow. Snow potential, not very much, probably less than a ½ inch here in Madison, maybe as much as an inch in the far northern parts of our viewing area. Farther to the south, there might be a mixture of snow and rain, or a little bit of light freezing rain changing to rain in the afternoon before it comes to an end. The live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, pretty nice night out there. A little breezy right now. Those winds will die down later on. The almanac for today shows our high temperature reached 36 degrees. That was 4 degrees above average. Low temperature of 13, 5 degrees below normal. But right now we're sitting at a very pleasant 31 degrees. Skies are mostly clear. Winds are out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour, and that drops the wind chill to 23 degrees. Over the next 7 days, above normal temperatures are expected every single day. Not by a lot, but generally temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. 30s, when the average high temperature drops from 31 tomorrow to 29 by the early part of next week. And the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, which takes us right up to the Christmas holiday through December 18th through the 24th, calling for above normal temperatures for almost all of the lower 48 states, about a 50 to 60% chance of above normal temperatures from Wisconsin eastward into New England. And precipitation also expected to be above normal, but only about a 40% chance of that. The weather systems will be coming through a little more quickly, but they're not expected to be big ones, at least in the next week to almost 10 days as far out as we can see. Low temperatures this morning, single digits to the teens. There was some fog, especially farther to the south across areas of our southern viewing area into parts of northern Illinois, leaving a frosty start to the morning. Current temperatures range from the upper teens and lower 20s in northwestern Wisconsin to still around freezing here in the southern part of the state. Our upper level winds, though, coming in from the northwest. That's what fed into that storm system that brought the heavy snow into parts of the Carolinas over the weekend. But the next weather system coming in is coming in off the Pacific Ocean, and with southwesterly winds aloft, there's not a lot of cold air available for it. So the precipitation generally will be light. A lot of that will be rung out across the Rockies as it moves eastward. This high pressure system will also block that storm from moving in full force. So while temperatures are cold enough for snow, they're barely cold enough for snow, at least in our part of the Midwest. Farther to the south, temperatures closer to the 40-degree mark. And on future track, you can see generally west to southwesterly winds gradually as that next weather system comes in. Again, some light snow, maybe mixed a little bit of light freezing rain on Wednesday, and then that'll pull on out of here. The next weather system perhaps bring us another chance for some light snow or light freezing rain. That'll pass mainly to the south of us on Thursday night. 20 for the overnight low temperature with mostly clear skies, so not quite as cold as last night. Tomorrow's high temperature about the same as today, 35 with mostly sunny skies. On future track, the skies clearing out overnight. Temperatures down to around 20 by early tomorrow morning. Look for high temperatures tomorrow to be in the middle 30s. And then tomorrow night, the clouds move in. Could be a light freezing drizzle or some flurries as we head into late tomorrow night, and then some light snow, perhaps light freezing rain. But even this very latest update of the computer model brings even less precipitation on Wednesday, and snowfall amounts maybe an inch in the far northern parts of our viewing area. You can see that just updated. That will be even less if the latest forecast models are correct. Otherwise, temperatures staying in the 30s through next week. By the end of next week, maybe a chance of flurries from late Wednesday into Thursday.
Well, lots of props today for the Badgers football and basketball teams, especially Ethan Happ. We've got the details next in sports. Well, there have been 5 weeks of Big Ten Weekly Awards so far this season. Ethan Happ has been named Player of the Week in 4 of them now. The senior forward is averaging 27 points per game. He helped the Badgers beat Rutgers last week and scored a career-high 34 points and 11 rebounds in the overtime loss at Marquette on Saturday. Happ also leads the country in double-doubles, and Ethan and the guys back in action on Thursday at the Kohl Center. They are hosting Savannah State. It's that time of year for football award season, and the Badgers picking up a few accolades. Running back Jonathan Taylor and right guard Bo Benchel both named to the Associated Press All-American First Team. JT also won the Doak Walker Award last week, which was given to the best running back in the country. Left guard Michael Dieter also honored. He was named to the AP's second team. And Dakota Dixon named a finalist for the Collegiate Man of the Year Award. He's one of the 3 finalists in the country, alongside Kansas State's Dalton Reisner and Auburn's Derek Brown. The award given to a player who exemplifies outstanding leadership in terms of courage, integrity, and sportsmanship. The winner will be announced on February 12th. Can't believe I'm even saying this, but the Packers' playoff hopes are not completely dead. They are very much alive, maybe on life support, we'll call it. But they'll have to keep an eye on the Vikings-Seahawks game tonight on Monday Night Football, because both those teams in wildcard spots right now, they will be after tonight regardless of the result. But the Packers will probably be rooting for the loser to lose a few more games. But that's kind of out of their control. So what can they control? Beating the Bears, and that is their focus right now.
After watching a good bit of the game last night, I know, right now we've got, this is an awful good football team that we're going in to play. We haven't had the type of success on the road that we need to have as a football team. So really, we're just beginning our, personally myself, just beginning the preparation for Chicago here, this afternoon, and that's really all we're focused on right now.
And the American Family Insurance Championship has truly grown in its 3 years, raising more and more money for various charities every year. It really has become a weekend event when it happens, with concerts, a celebrity foursome, and of course the actual tournament. It raised $1.1 million in its first year, $1.6 in the second, and today the year 3 total announced by Bodie O'Rourke.
There you go, all the way down.
It's a great week. We look forward to it every year, and to have everybody involved, obviously a great sponsor. The whole team, puts it all together. We just show up. I just show up and play a little bit, support it as much as I can, but it's just it's a wonderful week for us to be a part of the give back, and that's what we're here today.
And Friday night, winner's schedule of Prep Mania Game of the Week starts with a battle for first place in Big 8 girls basketball. Madison Memorial and Verona are part of a 5-way tie for first at 4-1. Jay Wilson, Bill Brophy on the call. You can watch the Spartans and Wildcats live on channel3000.com. That's Friday night at 7:15.
Quick final recap with Gary on the forecast.
Temperatures are going to stay on the cold side, but not that bad. Lower to middle 30s for the most part. We'll see a chance for some light freezing rain or light snow on Wednesday, so we do have an alert day in the forecast for that.
All right, Melissa, Gary, thank you. And thank you for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.